Well, welcome to another episode of KelownaHomes.tv. Today I want to talk to you about why I believe Kelowna is such an amazing place. I think you're going to like what you hear. I actually think you know this already. That's probably why you're watching this. That's certainly why our real estate market is doing really quite well at the moment. And usually we don't expect to see the activity that we're seeing right now in the month of July. It's usually a fairly quiet time. Children are on holiday. And people usually don't make buying decisions until the children have gone back to school. So I'm excited that we're living at the moment in a fairly vibrant market. But I want to tell you that that's actually one of the secrets to Kelowna. The fact that we are a tourism destination. So let me share some statistics and information with you. And now you know as well as I do that Kelowna is a beautiful place. That's why I chose to live here with my family, and we've always enjoyed the diversity of the activities that we have here, the access to wild areas, natural areas that we have here, and of course one of our greatest assets, the lake, a beautiful 75-mile long lake with fresh, clean, spring-like water. It's a precious asset, but it's one of the things that drives our tourism economy, and when our tourism economy is doing very well, our real estate economy follows suit. And so we always have some fluctuations, some cycles. As a good example, this spring we had a lot of wet weather, and you'll find if you talk to the hotel operators that a lot of the tourism bookings were cancelled, and consequently the real estate offices were a little slow during that period of time. Since then, the tourism has picked up, the hotel rooms are now more full, and we're seeing a much more active real estate market. Of course, there are other activities that people enjoy in the Kelowna area. Not only do we have this beautiful, pristine wilderness, and don't get me wrong, there are other places that have that. I used to live in Canmore, Alberta, one of the most beautiful spots on planet Earth, but it also comes with a rather frigid climate that at the end of the day does at some point make you feel like you might want to move somewhere to thaw out. And so for us the destination was the Okanagan. We have access to that similar kind of pristine wilderness, but not with the Canadian Rockies surrounding us. We do get a few hills and mountains, but not like the Canadian Rockies. It's a gorgeous area, and people are drawn to the area not only for that access to the wilderness. There's great mountain biking, there's great running, there's great road biking. We have a lot of athletes in the Okanagan who participate in the running races or the cycling races or the triathlons. But there is also access to the wineries. Our soft fruit industry is a predominant industry in the Okanagan. It's changed and morphed over the years, and we're seeing less apple production than we were, but we're seeing a lot of those orchards being converted into vineyards, and we're seeing a very high quality wine being produced in the Okanagan, and that's drawing people here, and that's what helps our market at the end of the day. I mentioned earlier that in the spring we saw a few less travelers, and one of the travelers that we like to see here is the Albertans. And when we see those license plates coming back into the valley, we know that one of two things is happening. First of all, there's a differential in temperature. People are coming here because Alberta might be a bit cold, and here it's a bit warm and they can play golf a little bit more enjoyably. They're also coming here perhaps because of the economy in Alberta, because their economy is ticking along with the oil extraction, the gas extraction. So that bodes well for the Kelowna area. Of course, we always have an inbound interest from the Vancouver Lower Mainland area, and as that gets busier and busier and busier, I continue to believe you'll see the bright white fright flight, as I've heard it referred to, people moving out of these busy urban centres and moving into a more rural lifestyle. So the secret to the Okanagan is not a secret at all, actually. It's because we have this beautiful destination that people have for a long time harbored a desire to want to live here. There are many stories and many families that I know who've been coming to the Okanagan for a long time now. They've come annually with their families. They've gone so far as to book the same hotel room for the last 20 or 30 or 40 years. The same hotel room in the same hotel on the same beach in the Okanagan. And of course, every year that they do that, there's another discussion about, wouldn't it be great if we could live in this area? Wouldn't it be great if we could run our business here or find the work here that we need to sustain our family? Of course, what that ultimately leads to is the discussion about, wouldn't it be great to retire here? And that's one of the key elements that underpins our real estate economy. This desire to live in one of the most beautiful places on the earth. And mark my words, if you haven't traveled, you need to. You need to go to the south of France that people talk about so highly in terms of real estate. You need to go to South Africa and travel around South Africa and Cape Town and Johannesburg and places that people talk about as being a great lifestyle in those areas. You need to travel to Australia to look at places where people say there's a wonderful lifestyle. And there certainly is, but there's no less of a lifestyle here in the Okanagan. And that's what I think is somewhat of a secret globally, is we have just a wonderful lifestyle, and we have underappraised real estate globally when you start looking at those international markets. It's very easy still, if I look at places like the south of France or Mediterranean Europe, very easy to find waterfront properties valued at $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and $5,000 a square foot. Yet here in the Okanagan, it's very easy to find waterfront property at $500 and $600 a square foot. Great value for money if you've been shopping in a global marketplace. So the long-term real estate economy in the Okanagan, I believe, looks good. The trends are great. We've got more people retiring here. We've got people wanting to move to this warmer climate. We have an airport that's ahead of expansion programs. It's breaking records every year for the numbers of passengers that go through. And we have a warm climate. And for me and my family, that was a big part of the decision to move here. But it does bode well for the future. Does it mean that we'll not have peaks and valleys, the cycles that the normal real estate market sees? Absolutely not. So we will see the peaks and valleys that we've seen, but they'll flatten out, I believe, over the next 5, 10 and 15 years, and you'll see a phenomenal, wonderful real estate economy in the Okanagan. Not one where we're seeing 15, 20 and 30% growth a year, but one where we're seeing steady growth with a steady pressure for the purchasing demand, and of course a wonderful lifestyle that will underpin that demand, and that's the most important thing. It'll be real demand in a real economy. That's really exciting if you're looking at buying real estate in the Okanagan at the moment, or if you're a realtor in the Okanagan.